It's time for another edition of the Alumni Spotlight, presented by Alumni Hall, the official online store of WKU Athletics. I'm Brett Williams, and today I'm joined by one of the last seniors to be honored, as this is senior week for WKU volleyball. We haven't had a senior day in this program for 2 seasons because everyone came back from the spring, so one of the last seniors to be honored here with this program from the class of 2020, it's right side hitter Sophia Cerino. How are you today, Sophia?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brett?
I'm doing really well. Excited to have you on. And I just got to ask, before we even get into your personal story on the Hill, how interesting is it for you now, about 2 years removed from your senior day, to finally see another one in this program for 6 players who were your teammates back in 2019?
It's a bit of an odd feeling, honestly. Kind of like looking back, like, how did I get here? Kind of strange because it feels like just yesterday I was on the hill, but then it also feels like I'm kind of been out for a little while now and with COVID and everything. And now I'm kind of like looking back, like, where did the time go? So I remember when these seniors now came in as freshmen and kind of wanted to take them under my wing. And I actually do remember when on their official visit, I sat them down and was like, literally, if you guys need anything, like come to me. Like if you're feeling left out, if you're feeling homesick, if you need just someone to talk to, I'm like, I'm always here for you. And they've really been great teammates to play with the past few years that I was there on the hill, and really great friends as well. So really happy and excited for them.
That's awesome to hear. That's the Hilltopper way right there. I'd love to hear that from you. So, turning rather to your individual story, another one of these just tremendous honors and accolades, individual and team, that I seem to keep running off for all of these alumni. 2-time second team all conference selection, all tournament pick in CUSA, part of teams that won 6 Conference USA titles, went to 2 NCAA tournament second rounds. When you look back on all of that, is there anything in particular that stands out that you're most proud of from your time here?
That's a tough one. I mean, mostly I feel like I'm proud of kind of the team and the program. I mean, like, yeah, obviously the personal things are great, but I wouldn't be able to achieve any of that if it wasn't for the teammates that surrounded me and the wonderful coaching staff and staff that we have in our program. Something that I'm really proud of is at our team was able to host the NCAA tournament my senior year,
Absolutely.
the end of 2019 there. That's something that I kind of always will hold in my heart just because that was the first time that we've ever done that in program history. And the fact that I got to be a part of it, like I sit back and still think about that, like, oh my gosh, like what a great thing and what a cool thing to be a part of. And how blessed am I to have been able to experience that and experience it with my best friends and, really some our fans and the whole community of Bowling Green really just rallied around us. And that's something that, like, I will never forget, that I'll tell my kids about someday, tell my grandkids about. That's kind of what I feel like I'm most proud of, and what our program was able to accomplish by doing that.
Yeah, leading up into this week, Travis mentioned how he would love to see these seniors walk out into Diddle and experience the realization of what they have built over their time. And I think certainly that was a moment for you when that happened that night. I mean, just what did that mean to you in that moment, to think about how far the community involvement had come with this program to go along with all the accolades on the floor that you had enjoyed?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was also kind of blessed in the sense too to see kind of where we've come. Like in my career, in the 4 years that I was there, I feel like we really saw a jump in community support. And I mean, we always were supported by the community 100%, but just seeing kind of like from my freshman year all the way up to my senior year, just seeing the amount of people that, kind of started showing up for games, and even like the students, like our student section grew, our student support grew tremendously throughout my time there. And it was really great to kind of see where that was from, like knowing kind of where we were my freshman year, getting to my senior year, and just going out, in that NCAA tournament, like running out to the fight song and having all the fans cheer. Like, that's just something you dream about. That's something that I still think is surreal. And remember vividly to this day.
So, Sophia, one of the first things, of course, that fans think about when they think of you is your serve, which was probably the most electric in Hilltopper history as you go down as second all time in career aces. You have the single season record as a senior in which you led the country in that category, that lefty topspin jump serve that just rendered defenses useless. I mean, what was it like throughout your career crafting that and then unleashing it as a senior the way that you did?
Um, well, I mean, I feel like something that I was kind of able to develop from like throughout my career, particularly to my serve, was just kind of confidence. Um, so, I mean, my first and second year, I was kind of had a role more of a serving specialist and, would go in to serve. And I'm grateful that I was able to do that. But I think once I like was able to work on it and develop it and train it more in practices and get more confidence in those reps. I feel like in my junior and senior season in particular, I really just kind of felt confident going out there that, if the ball was in my hands when I got back there on the service line, that, I would do what I needed to do for my team to get a point or to get the other team out of system and put my team in a good position, moving forward. Travis really hammers home serving and its importance. And I think that's another thing too that really just kind of helped me focus in on my serving game and really focusing on being able to score some points from the service line was his, emphasis on it and really pushing us to get our serving numbers every week.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I can speak both from the broadcaster's perspective as well as just seeing what other fans were doing. It seemed like every time you got the ball back there at the line, there was just everybody waiting with bated breath and side diddle because they knew something fun was about to happen. So congrats to you for creating that kind of ambiance that very few people get to enjoy. In terms
Well, thank
of,
you.
yeah, absolutely. No, it was special to see for sure. So, transitioning a little bit to off the floor, we have to talk about this because you are as decorated off the floor as you are on it. 8-time every semester WKU President's List honoree, all 4 years receiving the Conference USA Academic Medal. So, congrats to you for all of that. What has that transitioned you into in your post-grad career?
Well, thank you. So I've always kind of, obviously volleyball was important, but school was definitely more important to me as well. Um, just because I always needed to be on my academics in order to be able to play volleyball, and I knew that, and I always kind of wanted to be sure I got that taken care of before we had to go travel or do anything, and all of that. So worked really hard in the classroom, and so now I'm in my full-time career. I'm an interior designer, commercial interior designer for a real estate development company based in Nashville here. So this past year, I've worked here and it's been a great learning experience for me. I think my time and my experiences on the Hill, and particularly with like the Western volleyball team, I think that's helped prepare me for the workplace and just learning to work with different types of people, but also kind of working towards a common goal and just doing my very best every day and all of that. But it's definitely been learning year for me, which is great. I'm excited to learn, excited to kind of grow in my career as well. So yes, that's kind of what I've been up to post grad, and definitely really enjoying it.
Well, I spoke with Logan Kale, one of this year's seniors, on the coaches show the other night, and she told me she too is an interior design major, like you, a Tennessee native, and I understand that you two have been in touch, trying to kind of see what her career path might look like. I mean, what have your conversations been like with Logan?
Yeah, absolutely. Logan's one of my good friends. I try to keep up with her as often as I can, um, and particularly too with her career and kind of where she wants to be with things. I think she's still kind of working through all of that. But obviously, I've encouraged her. I'm like, hey, if you have any questions about anything, there are a lot of things that, sometimes you don't learn in school that you kind of have to learn in the workplace. And I'm like, if you have any questions about any of those types of things, if you're ever looking, I was like, I can put in a good word, and things like that. So, kind of just trying to make sure if she has any questions or she needs any help with getting her career started in interior design, that I can kind of be a resource for her to answer questions or possibly open a door through connections and things like that.
Sounds like exactly the same thing you told her and all of her fellow classmates when they came into the Hill, right?
Yeah, I mean,
How about it?
I would do anything for those girls, for my teammates, and really anybody in the Western community. But I really just would do anything for them to be sure that they are successful, and anything I can do to help.
Well, Sophia, I mentioned this to Emma Kołakowski when I talked to her earlier this season that the two of you are the only two alumni who have played with this core of players who have been now for the last 3 seasons, among a lot of other crazy numbers that I could roll off here, 75-4 since the start of that 2019 campaign. So you two have a unique perspective on what this group has accomplished as they go out there on the floor, these 6 seniors for the final time. What is your message to them as you welcome them into the Hilltopper Alumni Club?
Oh, well, first of all, I want to say enjoy every moment you have of the rest of the season. You know, it goes by so quickly, and everyone always says that, but you look back and you're like, oh my goodness, that was like felt like a blink of an eye. It went by so quick. But I would just encourage them to enjoy and take in every single last moment of this last bit of the season that they have, with your teammates, with everybody in the community, with your classmates, all of that. Just really soak it all in. And then kind of going forward into the alumni, just continue to have that pride about you, about Hilltopper Nation, about this volleyball program, and everything that you've accomplished in your time there. Um, I feel like I feel like there's so many things to, like you said, that we've accomplished and that group has accomplished, and um, it's just amazing to look back and see. So looking back with some pride and gratitude really goes a long way. So that's kind of what my message would be and my encouragement to them.
We know Travis Hudson talks all the time about the importance of gratitude, and Hilltopper pride radiates from him and you and pretty much everybody else who's been through this program. So love to hear that. Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us. Always good to talk to you. Always good to see you. Looking forward to reconnecting this weekend, but appreciate you being a part of this Alumni Spotlight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been great.